King Charles made a final request to William, not about the monarchy, about Camilla. He's begging his son to protect her after he's gone. William's response? Silence. Not a word. And when you hear what insiders say that silence really means, it changes everything. 15 signs Charles is panicking, and why his own son won't answer him. Most people assume Camilla is set for life. She's the queen. Wrong. The moment Charles dies, she becomes Queen Dowager. No power, no guaranteed home, no staff. Everything falls to William. He's already started. He took over the monarchy's Epstein response, pushed Camilla aside completely. He was 13 when he heard his mother say there were 3 people in her marriage. He made a promise, and he's keeping it. Diana's son decides if Camilla keeps her life or loses it all. Charles begged. William said nothing. She already knows. She secretly helped design a deal to lock in her privileges now. Because the moment he's gone, insiders say she'll be at Kate's mercy. Diana's daughter-in-law. Camilla's expiration date is closer than you think. All 15. Let's go. Number 1. What Charles actually asked for. January 2026. Sources speaking to Radar Online revealed the specifics of what Charles put on the table. And it's more than most people realize. Charles asked William to guarantee Camilla full access to palace privileges after his death. That means her residence, her household staff, her personal security detail, her position within the royal family, her right to attend state functions. He didn't just ask for a roof over her head. He asked for everything she has right now to continue as though nothing changed, as though the king hadn't died, as though the throne hadn't passed, and the word he used, or the word his people used, was final. That's the word that should chill you. A king who expected to be obeyed wouldn't call it a request. A king who trusted his son would handle things wouldn't need to ask at all. You call something your final request when you believe you won't get another chance. Number 2. Camilla didn't trust Charles to handle it alone. Now here's where the story shifts. Those same Radar Online sources revealed that Camilla secretly helped design that deal. She didn't sit back and wait for Charles to sort it out. She got involved. She shaped the terms. She worked behind the scenes to draft the guarantees herself. Think about what that tells you. If Camilla believed, even for a second, that William would do the right thing on his own, she wouldn't need to engineer her own safety net. You don't build a lifeboat if you think the ship is going to hold. Camilla is building a lifeboat. She's building it fast. She's building it desperately. And she's building it while the one person who can launch it, the one person who still has the power to protect her, still has breath in his lungs. Number 3. Charles's health forced his hand. Charles has been king for less than 4 years. Most monarchs don't start making final requests this early. Most monarchs aren't this desperate this soon, but Charles has cancer. Diagnosed February 2024, hospitalized in March 2025 for what the palace called a minor blip, a phrase nobody believed. By October 2025, observers said his suit was hanging off his frame. One source told Radar Online he looked like a man fighting something bigger than he's letting on. Then came December 2025. Charles went on national television for Stand Up to Cancer and told the country his treatment could be reduced in the new year. Sounded like good news, except the palace clarified on the same day that he is not in remission. He's in a precautionary phase. Palace speak for, we're not saying it's worse, but we're not saying it's better. That's why he's making this request now, not in 5 years, not when he's 80. Now, because he may not get another chance, and because he's watching William prepare for the throne. And Camilla is nowhere in that picture. Number 4. The word that tells you everything. I told you in the intro that Camilla knows what's coming. Here's how we know she knows. January 2026, a source told Radar Online directly, Camilla is panicked about where she'll stand in the new scheme of things. Not concerned, not uneasy, not thinking ahead, panicked. The Queen of England is panicking about her own future. The woman who wears the crown, who walks beside the king at each state event, who sits on the throne right now, she's terrified because she knows that each privilege she has is attached to one man, and that man's body is failing. Number 5. At Kate's mercy. What that really means. Then the source said something that should have sent a chill through each room in Clarence house. Camilla can gripe all she wants, but there's no changing the reality that Kate will be queen before too long. When that happens, Camilla will effectively be at Kate's mercy. At Kate's mercy, meaning Kate, alongside William, will decide whether Camilla keeps her home, her staff, her invitations, whether she attends the coronation or watches it on television. And here's the part that Margaret, that anyone who loved Diana, will feel in their bones. The woman who destroyed Diana's marriage will be dependent on the kindness of Diana's daughter-in-law. The woman Diana called the Rottweiler will be asking permission from the woman Diana always dreamed William would marry. Every privilege, every comfort, every piece of the life Camilla built on top of Diana's pain, all of it decided by Kate. Number 6. He's already started. I told you in the intro that William's already making moves. Here's the proof. When the Andrew Epstein scandal exploded, it was William, not Charles, who took control. According to Radar Online, William bulldozed his way in and took over the monarchy's entire response. He pushed for Andrew's titles to be stripped. He overruled his own father, and sources say Camilla was left fuming at being sidelined. On top of that, William and Kate are already discussing changes to the monarchy. And this, the source says, has only made Camilla more anxious. They're drawing up plans for a new era, and Camilla isn't in those rooms. She's not being consulted. She's watching the future take shape through a window, and there's no chair with her name on it. Number 7. Even her allies are using the past tense. February 2026. Stylecaster reports that some royals believe Camilla should be afforded more respect and authority while she's still queen. Read those last 4 words again. While she's still queen. Even the people fighting in Camilla's corner are admitting her time is running out. They're not saying as queen, they're saying while she's still queen. That's countdown language. That's the language of people trying to squeeze the last drops out of a position they know has an expiration date stamped on it. When your own supporters talk about your reign like it's already ending, it is. Number 8. The title that means nothing. I mentioned Queen Dowager in the intro, but let me show you what that actually means in practice. When Charles dies, Camilla does not become Queen Mother. She can't. That title belongs to the king's mother, and Camilla is not William's mother. She never will be. Queen Dowager is what she gets, and a Queen Dowager has no constitutional role, no seat at the table, no automatic right to Clarence House, to her staff, to her security detail, to any of the privileges she currently holds. All of that, each piece, becomes a gift from the reigning monarch, and that monarch will be William, Diana's son, a man who didn't choose Camilla, a man who never forgot what she did to his family. Number 9. Every aspect of her life would be reviewed. Joe Little, the managing editor of Majesty magazine, put it as plainly as anyone has. King William would call all the shots. Every aspect of her life would be reviewed. Her residences, her travel, her staff, her schedule, whether she keeps Clarence House or gets moved to some country estate out of sight, whether she attends state dinners or sits at home watching them on the news. All of it, each detail of Camilla's daily existence, reviewed and decided by the boy who watched his mother's heart break on camera, the boy who walked behind her coffin, the boy who never forgot every single aspect. Number 10, the Queen Mother. Precedent won't save her. Camilla's defenders will point to the Queen Mother. Elizabeth's mother lived in luxury until she was 101. Clarence House. full staff, complete security. But the Queen Mother was Elizabeth's mother, her own flesh and blood. Of course, Elizabeth gave her everything. Camilla is William's father's second wife, the woman who had an affair with his father while his mother was alive, the woman Diana called the Rottweiler, the woman whose very existence in the royal family is built on the rubble of Diana's marriage. There is no historical precedent, none whatsoever, for what happens to a Queen Dowager who was the king's mistress before his first wife died in a tunnel in Paris. No precedent, no guarantees, no safety net, no protection whatsoever, unless William agrees, and William isn't agreeing. Number 11, the silence that answers everything. So Charles made the request. Camilla helped design the terms. They went to William with everything laid out, and William said nothing. No public commitment, no private assurance that's been reported, no leaked story about William pledging to protect his stepmother, no quiet word through palace channels. If William had agreed, Camilla wouldn't be panicked. If William had agreed, Charles wouldn't be calling this his final request. If the answer were yes, even a quiet, private yes, the palace machine would have leaked it to calm the waters. They didn't, because there's nothing to leak. I told you at the start that when you hear what insiders say that silence means, it changes everything. Here it is. One source close to the palace put it simply, William's silence isn't hesitation. It's not him thinking it over. It's the answer, and the answer is no. But to truly understand why, to understand the roots of that no, we need to go back. Back to 1995. Back to a 13-year-old boy sitting in front of a television. Number 12. What that 13-year-old never forgot. I mentioned this in the intro, but now let me tell you what it actually felt like. William was 13 years old when his mother sat down with Martin Bashir for the Panorama interview that shook the world. 13. A boy just starting at Eton, still a child in each way that matters. And he heard his mother say those words that nobody in Britain has ever been able to forget. There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded. He saw her fighting to hold herself together. He saw her eyes fill. He saw her trying to be brave while the whole country watched her break. And he knew, even at 13, who the third person in that marriage was. William has spoken about wanting to protect his mother, about the helplessness of being a child who understands what's happening but can't stop it. That rage, that powerlessness, that promise you make to yourself. When I'm big enough, when I'm powerful enough, I'll make this right. He's big enough now. He's powerful enough. And Camilla is about to find out what that promise looks like from the other side. Number 13. Diana knew. William was watching. Diana didn't just know what was happening to her marriage. She knew her son was absorbing each moment of it. In the Panorama interview itself, she told Bashir, "He's a child that's a deep thinker, and we don't know for a few years how it's gone in." A deep thinker. That's what Diana called her eldest son at 13. A boy who was processing the affair, the lies, the tears, the third person in the marriage, and storing it all somewhere deep. Camilla chose her side decades ago. She chose to be the other woman while Diana was raising those boys, while Diana was crying herself to sleep at Kensington Palace, while Diana was trying to hold together a family that Camilla was tearing apart. Camilla chose Charles, and in doing so, she chose against Diana. Well, William is about to be king, and that deep thinker Diana described? He thought about it. He thought about all of it. And Camilla is about to find out what conclusions he reached. Number 14, Kate, the woman Diana dreamed of. There's one more layer to this, and for me, it's the most beautiful part of the whole story. Those close to Diana said she spoke of a vision for William's future. She wanted him to marry someone stable, someone grounded, someone who would be loved, not just by William, but by the country. Kate is that woman. She survived cancer with a grace that took the world's breath away. She fought her battle with dignity while the whole country watched. She stood by her family when it mattered most. She became the most beloved royal of her generation, not because of a title, but because of who she is. And when William takes the throne, Kate will be queen. The woman Diana dreamed of will sit where Diana should have sat. She'll carry Diana's warmth, her compassion, her genuine connection to real people, the qualities that made Diana the people's princess, and she'll carry them forward into a new generation. And Camilla, at Kate's mercy, Diana's vision and Diana's justice wrapped into one. Number 15, the answer in the silence. So let's bring all of it together. Charles made a final request. Camilla helped write the terms. They went to William, together, and laid it all out. Residence, staff, security, status, everything Camilla has right now, guaranteed to continue after Charles is gone. And William gave them silence. Not "let me think about it," not "we'll work something out," not even a polite "no," not a single word of reassurance, just nothing. Complete and total silence. If the answer were yes, Camilla wouldn't be panicked. If the answer were yes, Charles wouldn't be calling this his final request. If the answer were yes, there would be no secret deals being drafted. The palace would have found a way to let the world know. They would have leaked it, spun it, celebrated it. They didn't. Because William's silence is his answer, and that answer is no. Charles knows it. Camilla knows it. The palace knows it. And now you know it. Diana's son remembered the tears. He remembered the interview. He remembered there were 3 of us in this marriage. He remembered the pain in his mother's eyes. He remembered which side Camilla was on. He remembered everything. And when the time comes, when William sits on that throne with Kate beside him, Camilla will discover what Diana always knew, that actions have consequences, that pain has a memory, that betrayal leaves a mark that never fully heals, and that her protection ends the very moment Charles's reign does. You know, people say karma takes its time, that it waits, that it has a long memory, that it doesn't forget. And looking at this story, at everything that's unfolding right now, it's hard to argue with that. For decades, Camilla had everything. She had Charles's love, his protection, his power, his undivided attention. She had the affair, then she had the marriage, then she had the crown. She got everything Diana was supposed to have. The fairy tale ending that should have belonged to someone else, built on top of someone else's broken heart. And Diana got heartbreak. She got betrayal. She got isolation and pain. She got a car crash in a Paris tunnel at 36 years old. She never got to see her sons become the men they are today. But Diana left something behind that Camilla never counted on. 2 sons, 2 boys who loved their mother more than anything in the world. And the eldest, the heir, the future king, watched everything. He saw it all. He never forgot who was on the other side of his mother's suffering. Charles is dying now. The cancer is real, the clock is ticking, and he's spending his final days begging that son, Diana's son, the boy who walked behind her coffin, to protect the woman who destroyed his mother's life. William's silence is Diana's answer, the answer she never got to give herself, the answer that's been waiting nearly 3 decades to be delivered. Final request. Panicked. At Kate's mercy. 15 signs. 1 truth. Camilla's protection ends when Charles does. That's the truth. That's the reality she's facing, and William's silence confirms it. 15 signs. 1 devastating truth. 1 silence that says everything. The King of England is begging his son to protect his wife, not because he's powerful, but because he knows the moment he's gone, so is every guarantee Camilla has, every privilege, every comfort, every piece of the life she built on top of a broken family. If this story moved you, if you believe Diana's legacy still matters, if you think the truth deserves to be told, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because we are not done with this, not even close. In our next video, we reveal 20 celebrities who flat out refused to meet Camilla. And when you hear the reasons they gave, you'll understand just how deep this goes. Hollywood, music, world leaders, people who looked at the invitation from the palace and said no. You absolutely do not want to miss that one.